Mighty Little Bheem is the second most watched Netflix original in the kids genre after Boss Baby. What makes this show different from any other show? You can work it out based on the target audience.
So some interesting guesses.
Yeah.
The question is, what is unusual about this show compared to any other Netflix show?
A lot of answers in the ballpark, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but I got one. I see one.
Yeah, I see 2 or 3 right answers. Well, maybe more than that actually.
I've seen one.
No, I see the
Right.
right answer.
Variations are the right answer, which is acceptable, I think. There are some people there. Why don't we try someone's side?
Yeah. Riaz, can you hear us?
I think they have removed the dialogues to make it universal. It's non-verbal show.
Yes, this is the pictures, and here is the answer. So there are no dialogues since it's targeted toddlers who can't speak, and I believe it's very popular.
Yes.
Nice question, Sai. Thank you. That's
So
a good one.
Chhota Bheem is obviously the very popular the TV show where Bheem is 9 years old in that. But Mighty Little Bheem is actually largely targeted at the NRI audience. So you will not necessarily see it on the Indian Netflix, but it's popular among the NRI audience. And in that, Chhota Bheem in that is 15 months old and he cannot speak. And since this is targeted at toddlers, this is the first Netflix show that has no dialogues in it.
I always thought, I think if you look at Indian mythology, for some reason, Bheem has become a very favorite character. You usually have Krishna, and I think
Yes.
Bheem and Krishna are the two, I think, popular in terms of these little spin-offs and things like that.
I'm struck by something interesting Netflix announced recently, where it said that it will allow people to play video at both slower and higher speeds. And that's really interesting because while most people who are not differently abled were like, what the hell, that's not how movies are meant to be watched. Deaf people welcome the ability to play the video slower because then they have more time to read subtitles. And blind people, who, by the way, watch these shows with someone describing the audio, they welcome the chance to, watch it, as it were, at higher speeds. And the reason for that is also the reason why so many people listen to podcasts at higher speeds, like 2x or whatever, because while our optimal speaking speed is about 200 words a minute, when we listen, we can process language at about 500 words a minute. So listening at double speed is actually very simple, which is why the blind also prefer, because when they're watching something, they're really listening to the audio description of what's going on. So higher speeds work for them, which is sort of a very interesting way for those of us who are neither deaf nor blind to get a picture into to get a sense of how they experience the world. And interesting that Netflix should try something like this.
So, Amit, this is basically your excuse for your podcast being longer than Gone with the Wind.
Well, I mean, if that's what people want.
Are you saying that Amit should play his podcast at double the speed? Or?
So Amit is saying that don't complain about the podcast being too long, just listen at double the speed.
Which most podcast listeners do, by the way. So